How's it going, everybody? It's Ethan here at eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Glacier Chains V Bar tire chains on our 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe. First thing to point out is that the V Bar chains are going to be probably your most aggressive chains. They're going to have the most bite and the most grip and traction. So if you're somewhere that gets a lot of ice or heavy snow, these are probably the best chains for you to use. These chains are in a ladder pattern. As you can see, each chain goes straight across the tire. Really good for starting and stopping. Not as great for ride quality, but again, if you're somewhere that gets a lot of deep snow or ice, these are probably a good bet for you. These chains include 4 cams on the front that you can tighten. Those are pretty nice, pretty easy to use just to get all the tension out. This rubber tensioner does come separate, but we do recommend it because you will probably be bouncing and losing a little bit of tension as you're moving along, and this keeps everything secure. You can go ahead and pick one of those up here at eTrailer. The chains themselves are made out of a low carbon steel, which is a softer metal, which is probably nice in the case of these V-bars, because if it was a harder metal, they might be a little bit brittle and more prone to breaking, but they might not be as weather secure and corrosion proof. They might not last you as long or the amount of seasons that a manganese nickel alloy might last you. The bag that these chains come in is not my favorite. It is kind of a light canvas material, and especially with these pointy V-bars, it's very likely that they'll start to poke through, and as you can see, they're sort of starting to do that already. So we recommend getting some sort of plastic carrying case just to keep them safe and secure in your car. That being said, for chains that you do have to get around and get underneath to get in the back on, they are relatively easy to put on, and I do like the tightening cams. So let's check out how I did that. So first thing you're going to want to do is lay out your chains and make sure that everything is nice and flat and there's no tangles or anything like that. You're going to want to make sure that these V-bars are pointed up and away from your tire so they're not actually making contact with your tire. And then you're going to want to focus on these cams and make sure that they're on the outside, because you will have to tighten those later. Start by draping the chains over your tire, trying to keep them as centered as possible. And we'll go ahead and make that first connection in the back. Things can get a little bit tight back here, but if you have the free link, go ahead and just make the connection on the first link that you can find that reaches. So there we go. We'll go ahead and make our connection on the front, just to whichever link that you can get it that takes out the most tension reasonably. We will be able to tighten it later using the cams. Now that we've got our connections made, we can go ahead and tighten up these cams. Using the tool that's provided, you're just going to turn each of these until you get the tension to where you want it to be. So we ended up having to tighten all 4 of our cams. We probably could have tightened up the actual links on the front and the back before we did it. So we recommend probably just getting these out in your garage and trying it out for yourself, just to make sure that everything is the way you want it to be. For these style of chains, they don't have any sort of self-tensioning, so we do recommend getting a rubber tensioner just to make sure that everything is safe and secure as you move and bump along the road, and the chains will probably loosen up a little bit. That's pretty much it. After that, you're just going to want to go ahead and put it on the other side. Probably roll forward a few times or backwards just to make sure everything's nice and secure. Probably check on that one more time, then you're ready to go. And that was a look at the Glacier Chains V Bar tire chains on our 2023 Chevrolet Tahoe.